So I'm going to just kind of start us off with beginning with the end in mind, right? And some of you may have heard me share, it's not about just getting down the aisle. It's not about getting a ring on your finger, right? It's not about just getting married. It's about fulfilling a love relationship, right? So when you see kind of thinking about the ultimate goal, what comes up for you? I'm kind of interested to hear. When you think of like, what would I really love? What are you after? What comes up? What's on your heart? What kind of bubbles up for you about the goal? Anybody, feel free to chime in.
To find a godly partner that could, share life and grow together.
Absolutely, to find a godly partner, to share life and grow together. Would you share a little bit more around grow together? What does that look like?
Just help each other to grow as human beings and also as believers.
So you're growing in your faith together.
Correct.
What would that look like?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, some people really see a time of devotion together, like where you're reading maybe a devotional or passages of scripture. Some people see it as prayer, really interceding for each other. It depends. Who else? Thank you, Fred. Who else? What's the ultimate goal for you? What does that look like?
I think the same thing. So finding a lifelong partner who can grow and have family with and all of that.
Yeah.
And in the fact of growing, learning submission, learning unity, learning commitment to each other, learning roles as a forward person, submitting to a partner as not being the head is something that I strive to learn, strive to lean into.
Yeah.
Being more of a unit instead of being the unit.
Nicely said.
So.
I like how Amber put that learning roles. Okay. By the end of this workshop, I hope it becomes really defined for you, because God has put longings on our hearts. He's given us little mental pictures and visions sometimes, right? The book of Proverbs is really clear, right? When it says, without vision, the people perish, right? Hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? So we have to kind of have an idea of where we're going. I like that, learning the roles. And for some women, learning what that means to submit in a godly way, not in a slave-like way, right? Where you share partnership in life and not become docile. Yes, yeah. Because I do want to give a disclaimer. You guys heard, and you'll see in our story too, in the printout, we included what Lisa read, but that we all have a past, right? I was single for over 38 or 39 years. I never remember. But it was really difficult. The complexities of being lonely and also being single.
Unmarried. I like that term better. More accurate.
Unmarried. Okay. I'd like to hear a little bit more for your ultimate goal. What would you love if it could all work out for you? What would you love inside of a marriage partnership? Anybody else?
I think it's companionship, having somebody day to day that is there with you, doing the normal things, being accepted for your normal things, some things that they might not understand sometimes, you don't understand them, but where you can actually, mesh together, be that one string, that one cord,
Yep. And I want to, if I can pick on Kay for a minute. One thing she's really good at is identifying what she doesn't want. right?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And maybe you can chime on, like getting clear on what we do want. We have to be really clear about like what's unacceptable, right?
Yeah.
You want to chime in on a couple things that you?
On this
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Well, because I work with Layla and have been for the past few weeks, she knows that I'm a mother of 5 sons. My youngest last week went into medical school. And I am driven by the need to create a great legacy, not only last generations, and stewardship. Those are 2 things that are very important to me. Reaching out into the community and into the world, because I support charities around the world. Right now I'm working on setting up a medical mission for 2 countries in Africa, but for the ultimate goal for me is someone who shares in the idea of everything is bigger than ourselves, and that when we help others, we help ourselves. And so, really and truly, for me, fulfilling legacy, not only for myself, but for my sons and their children and their children's children, creating a legacy that will go for generations is extremely important for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So thank you for that. Yeah. So for her, it's building a legacy, right? She has grown children, right? She's in a different season of life than some of us, right? So in your folder, you have a little activity. I want you to pull that out if you don't already. If you need a clipboard, there's some clipboards around and pens. So please make sure to have that. So part of the way, one of the things that really keep people from actually having a juicy love story, not to sound weird, but really a vibrant love story, is that they have a hard time getting really clear about what they would love in a relationship. Okay, and so this activity I'm going to take you through. We're going to just take about a minute or so to answer each one of the questions. But the way we answer this helps you get clear, okay? So if you're ready, question 1 is, what are my longings? What are my longings? Some people long for hiking or bike riding. What am I longing for? For me, I really love cooking. And so I want somebody that's easily feedable. Nailed it.
Easily feedable, that's good.
Not too picky, all right? So I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and protein, and he's one of my biggest participants. But that was a weird thing I was longing for, right? Not other people long for being active or hiking, or to me, I'm like, outside is not my jam. So write a little bit about what, if you ask yourself, what am I longing for? What am I longing for? You're not going to be quizzed on this. This is really just for you. All right. Just want to be clear about that.
It definitely really helped me when, I thought about what my perfect mate would be, or, I didn't use the word perfect, but I was equating it to when Adam had his helpmate, is taken from his rib, right? It's completely compatible with him. So I started thinking, well, what would that look like? Who would be completely compatible with me? Because I knew that's what I wanted. And then when I went through some things and on my list, one of, they just kind of it was like a light bulb went off, and I remembered meeting her. And so I reached out to her, and then we haven't stopped talking since.
When you're done with question 1, you can move into the second one. What are my discontents? We're going to get into this a little bit later, but we are going to talk about the difference between being single and lonely. what it means to be alone versus single. But what are my discontents right now? When I was single, I was part of a lot of ministry type stuff, and it was very fulfilling, to be able to pray for people and prophesy and do some really neat things inside of ministry. But I really hated going home by myself. Nobody that could really, that I could decompress with, that was comforting. That's an example for you. And then question number 3, what would I love in a marriage? If it all worked out, I would love building a legacy, business ventures, not working, getting an RV. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever stop working. Sorry, babe.
Yeah, we'd just be traveling, working probably.
Yes.
Ministering to people in all the countries.
Got to talk to Kay about
places.
getting me on some stages. I don't know. Right now we're here, but what would you really love in a marriage if it all worked out? Do you want to be a bonus mom, a GMA? Do you want to have children? Do you want to travel around the world? All right. As you're wrapping up, before you answer question number 4, if you didn't already finish it, you can. But I want everybody to just take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it in. And then we're going to breathe out through the mouth like a straw's in your mouth. Deep breath in through the nose again. And then out through the mouth. And then I want you to just kind of glance back and ask yourself, just have an honest moment with yourself. How long have you felt this way? How long have you felt this way? How long have you had that longing, a desire? If nobody's ever given you permission before, I want to be the one to give you permission to say it's okay to want what you want. Okay? It's okay to want what you want. I will never know what it's like to be a male that I know of unless God shows me in a dream or something, right? But as women, we have dynamic thought lives. Okay? Our thoughts are very complex. But in this department, there are longings in our heart. Okay? And that's why I want to give you permission that it's okay to want what you want. When I knew that God had a specific man for me, I still lived in central New York. And I was part of a church that really ministered to singles. So there were a ton of singles. And they really wanted to be a safe haven for singles that were very successful. So we had a lot of doctors, architects, we just had really prevalent people in the area, but they were totally content being single. And there's parts of the Bible that are really clear about, if you can be single, that there's a lot of quote unquote freedom in that. But if God put a desire in your heart, it comes from heaven. If there's a longing inside of you, it is God's will. We don't just pick it off the shelf and say, I'm going to just try on this for an identity. As far as how long as I felt this way, did anybody have more than 6 months? Okay. Has anybody had more than 5 years? Yep. Anybody more than 10 years? Yep. More than 15? 20? Yeah. Right? Those longings are in us. It's a call toward forward, more. Okay? So I want to validate that. I'm going to just, so we're done here. If you finish this is for you. So I want you to hang on to it. I put the date on for you so you can kind of stick it back in your folder, or you can use it to, if something maybe comes to you that you want to add to your answer, we'll do that. We're gonna talk about singleness versus loneliness, okay? And then I'm gonna ask Josh to share what he has for us about what men need from women, because I think it's gonna be a powerful tidbit. So, does anybody want to throw out a definition of singleness? Mr. Rule?
Not dating or seeing anyone, just not in any kind of a relationship with another person.
So for him, it's not dating. Single to me doesn't have a contract, doesn't have a marriage, isn't married.
That's tax status.
We're all different. All right. Anybody else? What does it mean to be single? Yeah, so it could be a legal tax status, thank you, right? Or just unmarried, right? Or really single-minded in your focus, running after what God has for you. Could be another way of saying it.
Interesting. That's when you choose to be single.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you're single-minded in your focus relationally. You're not scanning. Not that anyone's ever done that, but I used to do that a lot. I've totally done that when I was single.
On your tax status.
On my tax status. Bless. Josh and I got married in October, and I was sure I could still file with my single life and my businesses. And he's like, oh, the government's like, no, actually, everything you made this year is joint filing. And I'm like, what?
It worked out for us.
It worked out just fine. But I learned that was interesting. Money comes and money goes. Doesn't it? All right. Anybody else about singleness? It's like a state, it's like a phase, if you will. I'm going to give you a little bit more on that.
A status.
A status. Yeah, a status. Loneliness. Who wants to throw out a definition of loneliness?
Feeling isolated.
Feeling isolated. Yep. You can be in a crowded room and still be lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A longing.
A longing. For what?
Whatever. If it be single, longing for a companion, but if it be, longing for children, longing for a career, longing for a relationship, longing for a faith, longing for whatever, but in those longings you're isolated and alone. So, searching for something, but you're longing for it.
Yeah. A longing. Anybody else?
I used to say I never minded being alone. And I really never felt lonely because then I could go out and meet people, which would just satisfy the need for a period of time. But after a while I felt that loneliness got a little bit more and more,
Sure. So being alone, thank you, Lisa, is different than being lonely, right? We're all clear on that.
I just want to say that
yeah.
I've heard so many people over the years be really lonely and they're married. And I've always said, I'd rather be lonely and alone than lonely with someone. I just think that would be really painful.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, right? So people can be alone inside a marriage, right? Some people know what that's like. All right. What I want to give you as a differentiator for loneliness is that loneliness is an actual feeling. Okay? It's a feeling word. Where I'm going to steal Pam's definition of single is a status, right? What do you call it? A tax status.
Yeah.
Bless. Yeah. So do you see the difference? Or loneliness is an actual feeling. It's part of the feeling words. It's a core feeling of being lonely. It's an icky, makes you sick. There's like tension in your mind around it, can be. But loneliness is a feeling, where being single is a status. All right? Some people will not ever leave one of those places because deep down they don't want to change. Okay? Like Pam just said, she'd rather be single and alone than be alone or lonely paired with the wrong person. All right? That's part of what brings us here today, right? Is to share with you how to attract the mate of God's choosing so that you don't just willy-nilly. One thing I like to differentiate too is that we always use the word attract instead of go get. Whoever here has had an experience where you could actually feel yourself go make something happen? Yeah, right? I know y'all some go-getters out there, right? Right? Where you like go make something happen. Let me tell you, you can go make something. You can go find somebody that will put a ring on it. And then you will be really disappointed for a very long time or go broke trying to break that contract, right? Okay. So divorce is very costly. And another reason why people don't want to attract the mate of God's choosing is because it takes work. Okay? It takes being able to open your mind to a new perspective. Invite God in to heal parts of your past that only God can touch so that he can clean up what's behind us so that he can get us ready for what's in front of us. Does that make sense? And so there is work involved. It's not a simple and easy process. Otherwise, the divorce rates would be much lower, right? And I will kind of wind that down. So I think we're all pretty clear on the difference between being single and being lonely, right? And I love how that added definition came into the space about being lonely and still paired, right? We want you to be paired and healthy and happy in partnership. Okay, if you're ready to rock.
All right.
We have a handout for you, if you're not already there, about what men need from women. And Josh is going to take us through that. So he's included some scripture references he'll cover, and I will trade places with you.
All right, cool. Thanks, hon.
You're welcome.
Good info. Yeah, so I'm talking about what do men need to commit, right? You know, what do men need to say I do? So the number one thing that I think that we need, you know, and it obviously isn't going to happen on day one, but we need to know that we're a priority in your life. You know, some people have, you know, kids from previous relationships. You know, some have parents that they go to for every decision that they're going to make, you know, or friends that they've had for years. And, you know, it could it could derail the relationship, with someone right at the start, because if something happens and it's like, oh yeah, I know we made plans to go do this or that, but so and so called, and I'm prioritizing them and my relationship with them, so that really can put the other person in a position that's lower, and is like, oh well, you don't really value our relationship, so it could derail it from the start. But you got deeper into the relationship, and if there's other male friends that are obviously creeping, as I like to put it in here, on you, that also devalues us, and in our feelings of how important we are to you. As if you're not willing to put aside others to see where it goes with me, if I'm just putting myself in the guy's spot here, then maybe we're not really jiving as well as we should be, if we're going to take it to the next level of marriage, because that's the ultimate goal, right? We want to state the intention from the get-go, that I'm interested in being married one day, and me going on a date with you is to figure it out if we're a good fit for each other or not. Whereas there's a lot of guys out there that they're not interested in that, and you can weed them out right away when you are clear with your own intentions. I put in this verse, Proverbs 5:8, in reference to the wrong people coming into your life, right? Proverbs 5:8 says, "Stay away from the woman who commits adultery. Do not even go near her house." So we know adultery is more about someone who's married having sex with someone who's not their spouse, right? But I would put fornication in there. I'd put even a emotional connection in there, because if you are in a relationship, even just emotionally with somebody, that's really a place where you've got to complete that process of, is this the right person for me, before you go, before you allow someone else in. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise there's going to be conflict, and neither one of the people are going to feel that you're really truly interested in them. The verse, I think, is just so profound in that it is very clear, of don't even go near their house, right? Because if somebody is not willing to respect you and your desires to not have sex before marriage, as the big one, I believe, is a number one discerning factor, then you don't want to be in a compromising position where you're alone with them at their house, or just alone with them in general, and they try to take it further than you're willing to go. I mean, I think that chaperones are a great idea. I mean, when we first started talking, we had a chaperone, and I think it was good for the both of us to really just have some oversight in our interactions with each other, so that we both felt safe.
Just to be clear, it was just a friend. You have a friend go with you.
Yeah.
Not, just somebody, a mutual friend, or somebody that knows, somebody that you can trust their gut instinct. They're a good judge of character, something like that. Or I think we went to church too.
Yeah. So, you let your yes be yes, your no be no. There's a lot of verses I put in here about, the reinforcing of leaving and cleaving your parents, and, cleaving to your spouse. I think that kind of a mentality can start early. I mean, obviously it's not completely there until you put the ring on, but just knowing that you're a priority, or that you're the one you are pursuing for marriage is a priority, is what men need. I think women need it too, right? That we need to know that we're a priority before we are willing to commit. We need to know that you're attracted to us. I put Solomon 1:4 in there, which says, "Draw me after you. Let us run." This is Solomon talking about his beloved drawing him after her. And then, the story of Ruth, if you've read Ruth, about how Ruth approached Boaz. And I mean, that's healthy when it's done in the right way. That there is a reciprocal relationship. The way that you smile and look at us, compliments, and just coming out and saying it. Because men, we are very straightforward with our words. So if you're trying to just bat eyes at a man, he may not understand that you're interested. He may just think that you got something in your eye. I don't know. But you got to be straightforward. A lot of you may already know that, but we are very very simple. And then when you let us know that you're attracted and you're interested, then that changes the entire perspective that we have on seeing if that attraction is mutual. And yeah, I mean, that's my number third, is that we need to be attracted to you. We have Genesis 34:3 says, "But he was so attracted to her that he fell in love and began expressing his feelings to her." I mean, obviously beauty is, the surface level of attraction, but it goes a lot deeper than that. I think women in general as a creature are beautiful, but there is a depth to who the person is that can make them more or less attractive. I talked about.
Can you give an example of that?
I'm going to, yeah.
Oh,
well, I talked about your, knowing that you're attracted to us obviously makes a difference. It needs to be reciprocal. And then how you take care of yourself is important. That's still, surface level, but it is important. It's important that you take care of yourself. Just like with a man, you want him to you want him to be around a while, right? So that's an important thing. But the confidence in yourself, and I'll go, even like a step deeper with, my personal experience with us is just that you listened, you were curious about me and who I was as a person. Layla asked questions about me that no one else had ever asked me in my whole life. And I was blown away, because I was like, whoa, she is not just talking about herself and, the latest trends or whatever. She wants to know who I am. She actually wants to know me. And that's huge. That was huge for me. At 1 Timothy 2:10, but they should not make themselves, or I'm sorry, but they should make themselves attractive by the good things they do. So chase after God, do what you do. Do what makes you come alive. I mean, we read in that book, Single, Dating, Engaged, and Married, you want somebody that's running the same race. He's going the same direction, or she's going the same direction as you. And you're like, hey, you going this way? Yeah. Oh, we're following after Jesus, or we're following after this cause that we're both passionate about. Yeah. Let's pair up. Let's go together. Let's do life.
That's how I met my husband.
Yeah.
We were both Harley riders.
Ah.
We were members of a club that would ride, and so it was like people that enjoyed the same thing that we did, and it was a safe group, and we could go out and just enjoy the wind in our hair, and so that's how we met. We've been together, married for 12 years now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. But just finding somebody that has a connection.
Yeah, that has similar values and desires and hopes and dreams, that you guys can create a shared life together where both of you come alive, where neither one of you has to sacrifice, their passions or desires in order to make the other's passions and desires come to life. I mean, there might be a short time where you take turns, right? And somebody has to take a back seat for a bit, but then the pendulum swings the other way. But either way, during that, you know what I meant. But I got another scripture. 1 Peter 3:3-4. It's not fancy hair, gold jewelry, or fine clothes that should make you beautiful. No, your beauty should come from inside of you. The beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit. That beauty will never disappear. It is worth very much to God. Your countenance, the joy of the Lord that's inside of you. That is so beautiful. When someone really knows their worth, they know that that they are a beautiful person. And then specifically for women, your femininity is one of your biggest attractive qualities, I think, for a man. Just like I'm sure you guys, you women, like a man who's a man, right? I mean, you're not trying to be something that you're not, but you embrace who God made you to be, and you're confident in it, and you live out your calling. So number 4, we need to clearly understand your intentions in our relationship. Now, I talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but I think that there can be a lot of confusion sometimes, even just somebody that you see as an acquaintance, right? Maybe he don't think that you guys are just acquaintances. Maybe he thinks there's something more there. It's important to really make things clear between people. Are we friends, or are we dating to see if we could be more than friends? And I believe that all of us, all of you here, are looking for something serious, and it's okay to tell people that. You can ask them on a date. I don't see anything wrong with that. We all have a desire to be with a spouse, right? But sex is one of those things that's just so pervasive out there in our culture that it can make or break a relationship, in that the boundaries that you put. Like, you've probably heard, you're not going to why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free, right? It's like, that is something that man probably, from my experience, a man can probably detach a little bit easier than a woman, his feelings, and he'll take sex if you're giving it, right? It's like, unless he's really got a solid commitment in his heart to abstain until marriage. But then if you tell him, hey, I am abstaining until marriage, that would change his entire perspective. So if he's only looking for sex, he's out immediately, right? Good riddance. Let him go. Because he's not going to marry you. No matter how good the sex is or how long you guys date, if he's out at the get-go when you say, I'm waiting till marriage, then he was never going to marry you to begin with. But if he says, you know what, I would wait for marriage to be with you, what kind of a statement is that? How deep does that resonate in your soul, that he would wait for marriage to have sex? That's how important you are to him. That's how important you are to God. Because he designed it that way, for us to be in a committed relationship where there's safety. Sex is like a fire, and marriage is like the fireplace. When it's inside the fireplace, it's beautiful. It's great to look at. It warms the whole house. When it gets outside of the fireplace, it burns the whole house down. So I got a couple scriptures in there reaffirming, and God, how God designed it. And I just want to encourage you to use that as a way to weed out the undesirables. Because if your goal is to get married, then saying telling the man right up front that I'm waiting until marriage to have sex is going to keep you from wasting time on people that aren't worth your time. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Tag out. All right. So you had asked me if I would share just a couple of things that women need. And so this is for twofold reason. I'm going to just kind of breeze through here because we have both genders. And it's also, like Josh was saying, it's helpful for us women to communicate clearly what we need. All right. So I'm just going to look at Josh's list and kind of do it from my perspective and kind of like take what you like and leave the rest, because we need to know that we're a priority in life. So Josh hit on it, but it has to be reciprocal. For you to have a healthy bond with someone, you come in a little bit, they come in a little bit, right? We share, they share. If you feel like something's a little bit off balance or someone's oversharing, then that's a good signal that they're not really interested in taking care of what's going on inside of you. Okay, women need to be heard. We have a need to be heard inside for who we are, not just for our looks, right? So when Josh put, we need to know that you're attracted, yeah, you have to have some mutual attraction. Some of the best bonds that we've seen, I was talking with a client recently, is that your looks are similar. That, like Josh and I, you can see we're both kind of like stocky. We're not like oversized or undersized. We're very similar size and we're very similar in age, okay? There's something to that compatibility. The age that you were born, the year, or, within a few years of each other. There's a lot of science around that pairing. But nothing compares to getting a clear word from God about the person. And I just want to clarify that we believe that there's one person right now. Not that you can't love several, because some people, their spouse may pass away and God may prepare you for another love. That's a real thing. I'm not discounting it. But I want to also give you a little bit of peace, and that you only need one. We are in a monogamous society here in the United States, and we wholeheartedly believe in one man with one woman when we talk about marriage. Just in case there was any confusion. So attraction, right? You may have real similar looks. I know that sounds weird. If anybody wants to help me out here, you can. And then being clear that it's okay to want marriage. Hey, I want somebody that's in it for the long haul, you know. Okay, so we are going to take a brief break. I have a little nifty gifty for you. So this is something we use in our program. Some of you may have one. You can take one or use it, but this is a guideline for going on dates. This is our dating plan. So we have green, which is your ideal qualities. You can do it over and over. I mean, it helps you clarify, like Josh was saying, no, not thank you for your interest and you're not the one for me. All right, so these are for you. You can take it, fill it out at your leisure. I just wanted to provide these to you as just a little gift for coming out, taking time out of your day to join us. And it's a really effective tool to get clear on what you would love and what is unacceptable deal breakers. Okay, so let's take 5. We're going to come back at say 10 after 2, and we're going to get into the real kind of nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes, a little bit about simplifying this process for you. Okay, any questions for Josh or I before we take a quick break? All right, take a quick break. If you want to get some water, coffee, tea, help yourself, and we'll come back in a few minutes.